Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session of Verilog HDL. So, in previous sessions, we had discussed few of the concepts related to overview of digital design. In continuation with the previous session, let us move ahead. So, previously we discussed. Okay, so in a previous session, we discussed evolution of CAD, that is the digital design part. Then later we discussed emergence of HDL, how HDL came into existence, and what all things led to the development of the HDL. Then apart from that, we discussed what is a typical design flow, in which we discussed regarding the shaded blocks, unshaded blocks, which is a process, and these are the design aspects, that is the design representation. So these we discussed, and then that is at different levels also we saw, that is we have behavioral level description, gate level, and the physical layout which is present. So, and we have the RTL reference. So these were just a few discussions what we had gone through. So these were the stuffs what we had discussed. So once you get the gate level netlist, what you can do is you can get the mask and get the IC fabricated. So that is what automatic place and route tool will help you later using the netlist. So then we discussed what is the importance of HDL. So what all parameters we had discussed for in general HDL in the previous sessions, right? Wherein we were discussing overviews of HDL. So those all become critical when we are considering HDL, and which gives importance to HDL. And those are the stuffs which again made HDL popular. So under that again Verilog wide became popular. So that is we had discussed it as ease of use, ease of learn, similar syntax to C programming. So these were the just a few things what we had discussed, different levels of abstraction representations. So these were just a few stuffs to mention. Now let us discuss the last part in this case, that is the trends in HDL. So what are the basic trends related to HDL? So the first thing what happens is the designers are able to design the digital circuits at very high level of abstraction, so which is referred to as behavioral level or algorithmic level of abstraction, wherein you are writing, if you're writing code, you will be writing it in the form of C programming, means a similar syntax similar to C programming, so which makes the developers and designers life bit easy. So that is what we can specify. Next, we have different kinds of tools which are available in order to carry out the hardware description language implementation. So if I want to implement a digital circuit using HDL, I have a number of tools which I can use. So few of them we had discussed previously, like logic synthesis tool. Then there are different kinds of tools also. That is another tool. What came to us was just in the discussion point was the usage of automatic route and place and route tool. So these are different tools which are available. So this also trended in the HDL. So then when we are speaking of high levels of abstraction, designers just need to think from a functionality point of view. So breaking that functionality is a later task. So using what all things you want to implement the functionality. For example, I want to build a counter. So in order, the functionality is it should count from some number to say 0 to 9, and after that it should repeat. So that is a functionality what I want to implement. So how that functionality will be implemented, it is left to the developer later, how he can break down that functionality into smaller chunks, say making use of flip-flops, making use of counters and any other gates, say inverters, and gate, or gate. So those all things. So we have to just think from a functionality point of view and then try to implement the stuff. So EDA tools I specified, they the tools make the life of the developer easy. So because of this availabilities of these tools, right, HDL also is trending in the market. So they help us to obtain designs which provide us, say, with the optimum results, say in power consumption or in the space consumption. So I want to minimize everything. I want to be optimal. I want it to be optimal. So for that purpose, these tools can be helpful. Then apart from these most popular trends which we speak of is nothing but the use of HDL in the RTL level. And apart from that, the other tools which I was speaking, that is logic synthesis tool, which is basically used to obtain the gate level netlist. Then after that netlist, you obtain the mask. If everything is fine, you go for the next process and obtain the masks. So that is design in HDL at the RTL level. So you are basically trying to design the say a digital circuit using the HDL, but you are able to do it at the RTL level. So in the previous design flow, we had seen that after design specification was given, then you came around with the next step, that is the behavioral specification. And after the behavioral specification, right, you got the RTL description. So from behavioral, which is simpler for the developers, then you obtain the RTL. So that is you're designing a HDL at the RTL level itself. So it is an indirect implication which which is trending around. Now again in this, if we just check logic synthesis tool takes the input from the RTL and it produces the gate level netlist. So which help us in the RTL design process. Then behavioral synthesis also played an important role, which basically allowed the designs to be obtained in terms of the algorithms what can be utilized, and then we can go ahead how the circuit is performing, say whether it is in a behavior point of view or the functionality point of view. So behavioral synthesis is, that's why it is also termed as algorithmic level of abstraction, so wherein you're trying to use the algorithms in order to implement the digital circuit. So again in this we had different kinds of EDA tools which were used for translation and optimization purposes. So optimization again, this term will be coming in. It is for say optimization in terms of the power consumption. I want to reduce it. In terms of the space consumption, I want to reduce it. Say in terms of timing constraints, I want a faster response. So I have to check out what can be optimized. Translation, say from behavioral, you are going to RTL. So from RTL, you're giving it to logic synthesis and you're obtaining the gate level netlist. So you're moving from one point to the other point. So in these cases, translation tools might be required. So availability of these tools also helps out for HDL. But what happens is behavioral synthesis has not gained much popularity, but which one has gained the popularity is the RTL design. But you can still implement in behavioral, get the RTL design, and from RTL design you can move further. So this is how it goes around. Now apart from this, we have formal verification, in which what we are doing is we try to use or apply the mathematical techniques to verify whether the functionality what is intended by the digital circuit is obtained or not. If it is not obtained, again I go back to the RTL level, you have seen it in the design flow, and try to see what modification can be done. Or else you can go for say if you are in the physical layout and some verification you are doing over there. So if something has to be changed in the place and route tool, so you can go and change that and try to obtain these formal verifications. So this is these are few things. Then apart from this, we have some high-end terms which we will be going through when we are making use of say cadence tools and other stuffs. So at present, just try to understand what are these things. So one term which comes is the assertion checkers. Assertion checkers are nothing but they try to embed the checking or the verification process in the RTL code itself. Instead of verifying it at the very late end, can I obtain the verification at the RTL level? That is at the very initial stage. If I'm able to rectify or identify any problems at the RTL level itself, then later it will reduce my work in the higher, in the next levels, in the next stages. So that is what I try to do. So assertion checkers basically help us to do these things. Then we have different verification languages which came into existence. Now basically what they did was they made use of the feature related to object oriented concepts, because there are some advantages and disadvantages. C program is not object oriented, whereas C++ is object oriented. Now here we can create instances, we can create the objects of the classes and so many other steps, and we can use some special properties of C programming like polymorphism, inheritance, which is actually not present in C program. It is not present in this. So can I go ahead with this and obtain and use some of the features of C++ for the verification? So that is what came into existence, that is verification languages, which basically combine the object oriented concepts with the parallelism or concurrency. This is we had discussed in previous sessions. So concurrency combined with the object oriented concepts. So this is again what makes HDL still more stronger. HDL still more stronger. So these are just few things which are trending in HDL. Then apart from this, we can have stimulus creation. So this will be looking in the next module. So what does these all things imply? So then checking and coverage. So coverage might be in terms of, say, if I'm writing some n number of test cases, whether these test cases, say if you're designing a adder and you want to check whether the adder is operating in proper form or not. So when I want to check this adder, right, I should check it with all the possible conditions. Now so this, if you're able to test all the conditions with all the possibilities, then you're having 100% coverage. But in some cases what happens is, this is just a simple adder. If I have a system, then I might not think of some of the cases wherein I'll be able to tell that okay, this scenario may arise. So in that case, what is happening is you are not able to cover few of the concept, few of the tests which have to be done on the system. So you might have not thought of. So such kind of cases may arrive. So that is, you try to have the maximum coverage, maximum checking from the system point of view. Now apart from this, another thing what HDL provides is HDL allows to mix different levels of abstraction in one module itself. So that is another advantage, because a few of the things might be required at high level, few of the things might be required to be defined at the low level. So I can have a mixture of this, but with some constraints over there. So those all constraints will be looking forward in the coming forth slides. So here we can mix the gate level netlist with the RTL description and try to see how I can get overall optimum design for a given digital circuit. That is what I try to do here. Now why this is required is, if I have to give an example, you all have heard about microprocessor. One example. So microprocessor is containing so many things. It is containing ALU, it is containing say memory unit, it is containing say some power supply unit which is supplying powers to all the gates which are present on the microprocessor. Then so many, it is built up with so many things, microprocessor. So when you have those things, right, you want microprocessor to be operating at a very faster rate. It should not be slow enough. You expect that the speed is sufficient enough for some operations. Say you are adding two numbers, subtracting, multiplying, doing the division of some smaller numbers. So the results obtained should be at a faster rate. So this can be done because it is having mixture of all. It is having gates, it is having ICs, it is having say the switches which are required. So a number of things. So when I'm dealing with this, if I go for mixed level of representation, right, I can obtain a very high speed operations also. It might be in terms of the power consumption also can be reduced. So these are the some time critical operations also can be included in those. So the example is the microprocessors. So now uh, apart from this, right, in HDL we can have two approaches mixed together. So this will be looking forward in the next slide. So here what will be, we have two kind of methodologies, bottom up, sorry, to, top down approach, sorry, it is top down approach and bottom up approach. And we have a third kind, which is a mixture of both together. I can have these. So these three kind of methodologies can be utilized in HDL. So that is what is specified. Designers can mix the methodologies, that is bottom up and top down approach, which will lead to hybrid kind of methodology. So this will be seeing what it actually inculcates. So this will check in the next this thing. So here, if I am able to use this stuff, right, that is a mixed technique of bottom up and top down approach or methodology. It basically reduces the development cost, because what is happening is, if you want to design a system, you try to see what all things are available with you, what all things are available with you, or the HDL aspect, and using those you can try to build the entire system. So this entire block might be present with me. So this is one entire big block, no need to divide this. But this block, in this block I want to implement, but I'm not having a few of the things. So this one can be designed from top to bottom to up approach, and this one I can design from top to top to down approach, bottom up and top down approach. So such kind of implementations we can go ahead. So therefore, it what it does is it reduces the development cost. It also reduces the development time also, if I'm able to achieve this. So then apart from this, we can entirely compress the design and present it in a comprehensive way. So that is what all things we can do. And so few other things also you can just add on over there. How I can control the power consumption, how I can go ahead with other stuffs. And if vendor is providing his library files, then it naturally reduces all these things. So no need for me to take care of those libraries, or no need to implement those libraries. So those kind of things we can check out in HDL. So this is all for the overview of the design flow.